Soul Calibur 5. Look, I'm gonna level with you. I really don't like Soul Calibur 5. It's just something about the game rubs me the wrong way, and I'm not particularly sure what it is offhand. There are plenty of things I don't like about it, and I'll discuss those in a moment, but overall there's just some kind of odd aura or feeling about Soul Calibur 5 that just really gets on my nerves. Okay, I'm going to go through each of the things in this game in order and talk in depth about what I don't like about them. First thing I went to when playing Soul Calibur 5 was I focused on the story, because for me, I'm not a traditional fighting game aficionado. I don't buy the fighting sticks, and I don't stand in the arcade wiggling them like this. I don't do that. I play fighting games on game consoles, and I play them for their story. Fighting game stories are a bit of a weird sort of mixed bag, and that's what makes them so fun to experience. Soul Calibur 5's story mode is based on the heirs of Sophitia from the first Soul Calibur game. So you've got Patrolokos, Sophitia's son, and you've got Pyrrha, Sophitia's daughter. Sophitia is murdered very, very near the beginning of the game, or even earlier in fact, 17 years before the game begins. How convenient. Sophitia is straight up murdered. Now I find this very hard to believe, having played as Sophitia in Soul Calibur 1 through 4. That to kill off Sophitia is like saying, let's just kill off one of our most powerful characters, you know. Let's just kill her off. It makes the story very hard to believe from the off. So Soul Calibur 5 focuses on these two heirs of Sophitia. I keep saying Sulfitia. I don't know why. Maybe it's Sulfeast. Maybe I'm thinking of that amazing 2D shooter from the Sega CD. Probably. Patrolokos has been looking for this woman who kidnapped his sister and murdered his mother 17 years ago. And this woman is Tira, who we know from Soul Calibur 3, I think was Tira's introduction. I'm not 100% on that, but it sounds about right in my head. Tira is one of these what's called malfested, and these are people who are infected with like the evil aura of the soul edge. Patrolokos is working for a guy called Duma, and Duma, it turns out, is after the soul edge, and he wants to become Nightmare. So Duma becomes Nightmare, but not after convincing Patrolokos to go on a wild goose chase and lying about knowing about where his sister was kidnapped and taken to, and all those sorts of things, you know. So basically, the story begins that Patrolokos goes off on a search for Duma, and his job is to go and kill all the malfested, right? Shocking twist, he's killing good guys, but that much was obvious. So he's going around killing what he believes to be malfested, and it's very entertaining because... no, it's not very entertaining. Basically, Patrolokos comes across this guy called Zwei, and Zwei is like basically a werewolf. Zwei tells Patrolokos that oh yeah, this Duma guy is lying to you, and the people you're killing aren't malfested, and by the way, I know where your sister is. Patrolokos comes back to this Zwei guy, and he's like, okay, then tell me what you know about my sister. And Zwei's sort of like, well, okay. And he leads Patrolokos to Siegfried, and Siegfried challenges Patrolokos and gives him this sword that turns out to be the Soul Calibur. He gives him the Soul Calibur, and it like changes shape, and he's like, okay, Patrolokos, you are now going to fight for our magical group Schwarzwind, and you're going to try and track down Soul Edge and destroy it. He's like, no, all I care about is saving my sister, because I somehow am in love with her for some reason. Yeah, it's a bit weird. So he follows some advice from Siegfried and finds Tira and finds his sister, and Tira's all like, well, I'm gonna kill this woman, and then he's like, oh my god, it's my sister, and then Tira's like, yeah, it's your sister, and then sister's like, oh my god, you're my brother, and then they meet up, and she's like happy ever after with him, and Patrolokos kicks 6 levels of shit out of Tira, but doesn't actually kill her for some reason. So yeah, some stuff happens, and Patrolakos is like, well, actually, I don't give a shit about Schwarzwind. I'm just gonna like take off with my sister and go. So he takes off with his sister and goes, and then his sister. It turns out she's a Malfested. He's like, oh no, what do I do? So he's like, well, I don't want anything to do with my sister. Bye bye. And his sister's like, no, I've been left again, and I have such abandonment issues. So she goes back to Tira, who's like, oh, Tira, you're the only person I can ever trust. And she's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Patrolakos then changes his moveset halfway through story mode for no reason, and that ruined the game for me. But, yeah, I'm sorry, okay, right? Patrolakos' moveset, okay? He has Sophitia's moveset from Soul Caliburs 1 through 4. He has Sophitia's moveset. And you're playing the game as him, and the combos are flowing, because if you played Soul Calibur, you can vouch, Sophitia's moves flow. So then, halfway through the game, they switch your moveset to Setsuka's moveset. Yeah. You are going from combo, combo, combo to you can't pull any moves off. It's not possible. It just does not flow whatsoever. Really weird. So anyway, they change his moveset for no reason. He bumps into Ivy, and Ivy says, oh, you've got Soul Calibur. That's one of 3 mythical items that can be used to resurrect the sword and something or other. And that you're supposed to remember. Okay, well, I'm Ivy, and I'm not going to let you have what you want until you prove to me you're better than me in a sword fight. It's like, for fuck's sake, this is anime logic, for fuck's sake. You don't have to prove you're better than someone else in a fight. You don't have to. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, he proves to Ivy that he's like all awesome and everything. So Ivy's like, okay, the 2 items you need are the Devarapura and the Kirapura, or whatever they're called. And they're like these 2 fucking purifying weapons that just so happen to be owned by the offspring of Kilik and Zhanghua. And there's the sister of daughter of Taki, and there's Maxi, and the 4 of them are all like, okay, we're not going to give you our 2 mythical weapons until you battle us one by one. Oh yeah, by the way, your moveset's still that shit new one. Good luck. So you take them out, and then you purify the weapons, and Patrolakos is like, okay, I'll go save my sister. But he gets brainwashed by what appears to be Sophitia, but isn't. It's like Sophitia is inside his head, and she's like, now what do we do with your Calibur? Yeah, that's another thing. When characters are malfested in Soul Calibur 5, they speak like they're underwater. It's really off-putting. Really off-putting. Oh well. Anyway, he goes and he kills his sister, and then, like, he gets trapped in this sort of, like, this purgatory where he meets Edgemaster, and Edgemaster is like, oh, by the way, magical go-back-in-time MacGuffin bullshit. It's like, okay, I think I'll try this backwards-in-time MacGuffin bullshit. So he goes back in time to before he got brainwashed by evil Sophitia in his mind, and he goes to save his sister. Meanwhile, Zwei fights in the hardest battle against Nightmare. That battle was pure rage. Patrolakos goes to save his sister, Pyrrha, and she's like, oh no, I cannot be saved because I'm a Malfested. And he's like, I'm going to save you. And he strikes her down, and he's like, okay, oh no, now I'm covered in ice for some reason. Oh my god, I can't move. And then Pyrrha has this shocking revelation that it's all her fault. And she's like, okay, I'm going to break at this ice. Meanwhile, while Patrolakos is stuck in the weird ice casing, he meets the spirit of his mother, which turns out to be some weird floaty thing called Elysium, and Elysium is actually the spirit inside the Soul Calibur blade. So he defeats his mother, or what he thinks is his mother, or what's pretending to be his mother, or whatever he's given the image of his mother to, or whatever, or something like that. He does that, and then that's done, and then, like, the 2 of them are saved, and it's like happy ever after. The story's okay. I don't really have much to complain about it. But however, the story mode gets on my nerves. There's only 20 episodes, which isn't too bad, but I mean, I beat it in an afternoon. I sat down and I played it and I beat it. And after that, there's not really any point to play through again. There's a couple of problems I have with the story mode. The first one is that some of the battles are extremely hard in certain places, and there seems to be no, like, logic to them. The battle with Pyrrha, once she goes insane, it's fine. Not a problem whatsoever. And then there's this battle against Nightmare that's really, really, really hard. Like, really, really, really hard. And there's another thing I don't like about the story mode. You can retry a level when you want to, like when you lose. And if you retry, you snap back in the battle, just like in Dead or Alive 4. That is the way to do it. That is the way to do it. When you want to retry, just bang, you're straight back in. Beautiful. Problem. If you retry a level in story mode, when you beat that level, if the following cutscene is one of those horrible still image cutscenes, there's no audio for that cutscene. There is no audio for the cutscene that plays after you finish a level if you have retried. I was really getting invested in the story, and being unable to have the audio in the story whenever I retried a level was annoying. Creation mode is pretty interesting. I like that there's a lot of customization options, far greater than before. There's no more of that, oh, it's gotta be this much magic power or these many skills, or... I'm glad they threw that shit out. Soul Calibur 3's, oh, all fire or all ice, gone. Soul Calibur 4's, oh, you've got to equip all these skill rings, gone. What else did I like about the creation mode? That it is just like the one from Broken Destiny. You could put anything you wanted on the character, you never had to worry about stats, all the items looked amazing, there were far more customization options, and you could shoot a thumbnail of the character with borders that appears on the character select screen. And that is back for Soul Calibur 5. And that makes me very happy, because I've customized my character portraits. They look really, really cool. So much fun. Yeah, overall customization options are really good. That's what I bought the game for. But what about the offline gameplay options? Well, the offline gameplay options are an arcade mode with no character intros or endings. There is a training mode for you to practice skills and whatnot and all that sort of thing. You know, you come to expect that in a fighting game. There is a special unlockable mode that's a harder version of the arcade mode. Boring. Yeah. You unlock that by beating story mode. And then there is this ghost battle thing. Can't remember what it's called now. So ghost battles are where you fight AI characters that are programmed to feel like human players who are fighting against you. There really isn't any difference, really, between a human player and a ghost. If the person plays enough and enough data is sent, the game can pretty much guess how these people would play pretty well. The reason why I like ghost battles is that, like in Broken Destiny, most of the ghosts have their own custom created character. These pre-made ghosts in the game are pretty cool. There's one that is Harada from the guy who made Tekken, and he has the Devil Jin moveset. Now this confused me when I was playing, because it's like, oh, Devil Jin moveset? But how many other Tekken movesets are there in this? Well, only the one, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have been able to play as Lin Xiaoyu. She is my favourite. So yeah, that's the offline functions. Online functions. I played a few of them. So I played online for a bit, and it didn't seem laggy or anything. The netcode works, and if it was like that when the game came out, I don't know. I can't judge. But with patches, it seems pretty good. A lot of people online were playing with their own custom characters, which it's always entertaining to see what people made. Other things I can really say about Soul Calibur 5? Yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it until it's much, much cheaper. Basically, Soul Calibur 5 isn't a bad game. It's got some good things. I really like the story mode. If the story mode didn't have this weird frickin' bug where the audio disappears, and maybe if the cutscenes weren't all still images. I mean, okay, there's these amazing cutscenes in the story mode that are the character models, and they're all animated, and they're speaking, and it looks amazing, and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. That sort of reminds me of MK vs. DC and the new Mortal Kombat, you know, the way they do their cutscenes. But the majority of cutscenes in the story mode are these still images. And, you know, it wouldn't look too bad if they hadn't slapped the Photoshop smudge stick filter effect over it. Because seriously, it just looks like someone did, look at this amazing drawing, and they're like, yeah, smudge stick, done. They'd look better if they didn't have the Photoshop effect on them. I don't like the fact there's very little animation in those scenes, and add to it that if they had done video files, they wouldn't have had the missing sound problem for all the cutscenes. Soul Calibur 5 is a step in the right direction story-wise. I like a fighting game with a story, and that's why I like Tekken 6. Tekken 6 had an amazing story. It was really long, and you could play through the levels to unlock new equipment and items. A Namco Bandai game. Around about now, you can sort of get Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur 5 for the same price. If you don't have Tekken 6, get that. And then get Soul Calibur 5. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good fun game. It's good with 2 players, you know, split screen. Well, not split screen, same screen. You know, good old-fashioned multiplayer fun. But, the online, I didn't really feel it. Some of the modes were a bit confusing. There wasn't really anything wrong with it. I'm sure online players who are savvy in fighting games might be okay with it, but I'm not too sure. Also, I suck at fighting games, so straight up, I hate the online anyway. If you want to, get it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to step out of your computer screen and say, oi, oi, you. That's me banging against glass. Don't you fucking buy that game. It's just Soul Calibur 4, but better. And the one cameo character seems to work. It appears to be the same voice actor, and he says a lot of Italian, which is a plus. If you're not a fighting game aficionado, forget it. If you want to play online, you've got to be good. Because I'm not. I got trounced. There's not really much else to say but that. It's a good story mode. If you play your fighting games for the story mode, then get it. But the story mode was beaten by me in one afternoon. Keep that in mind. Well, that's Soul Calibur 5. Until next time. If we live that long.